Welcome to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Justin Camps, and I'm here with...
Elizabeth Helly.
And...
Tyler Harrison, the talking bear.
Oh, he's a real bear.
He's a real bear. He can know over 300 phrases, and I'm going to give you all 300 on this episode.
Including the words, shut up.
Shut up.
Well, welcome to a brand new episode. And before we go too far, I need to say something right off the top. I was reminded earlier today that I keep forgetting to thank my brother for the awesome theme music on this show. And I want to do it at the beginning so that everyone hears it. We've got this amazing Christmas version for these last couple episodes here. And so thanks to my brother for keeping the holiday spirit up with us.
For doing the Christmas version and the original version.
That's right. And if you want to send any awesome thanks his way or our way, Eliz.
His name's Jordan, by the way.
That's right.
Should probably say.
Jordan Camps.
Yeah. Email us at sequelrights@gmail.com or find us on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sequel Rights.
And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to us. Listen to us on Spotify. We just got some fun Spotify metrics this week.
Yeah.
Justin told me we had over, what was it,
2.8 thousand minutes of content. Over 44 episodes, probably.
I can't even do the math to figure out whether or not that's impressive.
Or did they have to put it in minutes because it's not that much?
Well, listen to all of the minutes and tell if it's impressive.
Yeah. Well, we are here kicking off our last episode of the year, actually. And boy, do we have a fun one for you guys this week.
Adios, 2019.
Yeah, good riddance. Move into the year of hindsight.
Yes.
2020. This week we are talking about the second movie in the Jingle All The Way franchise with the genius name Jingle All The Way 2.
Jingle the second.
Jingle the second.
It's been a minute since we did a twofer.
Yeah.
I believe since our Swayze.
Oh, the Swayze verse.
The Swayze double.
And this one is a pretty weird, I mean, it's a good twofer because it goes from, Arnold Schwarzenegger, peak physical form, to Larry the Cable Guy. A guy who does cable.
Peak physical norm.
That's a good one.
How many years difference is this? A lot.
Well, Jingle All The Way
The world has definitely gotten sadder.
Yeah, Jingle All The Way was 1996, and this one came out 2014.
Oh, boy.
With the help of WWE
WWE Studios.
I don't know.
All right.
Because wrestling is an entertainment product.
Exactly. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they also did the Tooth Fairy 2 or whatever that was.
Same director.
Yep.
Same poster. Same Larry the Cable
Same
Guy.
Larry the Cable. I'm like, it's got to be the same people. I didn't look it up, but yeah.
Hey,
apparently
it
is.
This year they did that Stephen Merchant movie, which was totally fine.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, they do some good stuff. They've had some good horror movies too, I think. But anyways.
Not that Leprechaun one.
They made that too?
Yeah, they did.
Leprechaun Origins. Yeah. Well, let's get into it right now.
In honor of Christmas, I bring to everybody Larry's Paradal Lights.
You sure this is safe?
Of course it is. I rigged it myself.
It's awesome! It's like a palace.
And now, as they say in French, the peace of the resistance.
This is going to be the best Christmas ever!
Oh my God, you guys. Wait, before you say anything, I got to say that I am a little bit pissed off this week. Because I sat down to watch this movie expecting it to just be like a total garbage fire of awful, terrible things that I was going to be like, fuck this movie, it's so dumb, like I'm going to fall asleep or whatever. But I got to say that while I would never tell anyone to go see this movie ever, and that is not a good movie, there are things about it that I am surprised that it did somewhat well.
I will agree with that, but first I just wanted to say what you guys missed behind the scenes here at Sequel Rights is that I can see my co-hosts' faces while we're watching these, listening to these trailers, and there was some genuine PTSD. Oh God! But I think I know what you're talking about in regards to this movie, because unlike the first Jingle All the Way, where Sinbad and Arnold Schwarzenegger's conflict doesn't make any sense, this is two competing dads. It's a dad and a stepdad, and their relationship is absurd in some ways, but in other ways, Larry's relationship with his ex-wife, is actually pretty healthy.
Yeah.
And it makes their rivalry make sense, and they're competing for, his daughter's love, and it makes the one-upsmanship more grounded in a way that is better for filmmaking.
I think what happened is that my absolute below rock bottom expectations for this movie made it so that any time that I was like mildly charmed or like, oh, that's kind of a sweet moment, or wow, this isn't an exact like copy paste duplicate of the first movie, which I 100% expected it to be, I was actually surprised and was, it led me to give the movie some begrudging props along the way.
Now let's tear it apart. All right.
Well, yeah. I mean, I felt like it was an emotional roller coaster because I was like, oh, this is horrible. Oh, well, maybe that's not that bad. Oh, my God, no.
Right.
Like, I mean, in the beginning...
Which makes it interesting to me, like, that we went through this process. It's like we watched so many bad sequels that I was like, oh, the story's not completely the same. What? That's a plus in my book.
Yeah. And, well, okay, so we had this girl... Kennedy Clements in the Poltergeist remake. She was not Carol Ann. I forgot what her name was.
She was not great in that movie.
And
she didn't have a lot to do.
In the beginning of this movie, like in her first couple of scenes with Larry the Cable Guy, I mean, I hope that those were actually the first scenes they filmed because she is like out of control, like screamy, like what you heard in that trailer, like just very tinny, very fake. It doesn't seem good at all, but she gets better as it goes on, which makes me think they might have actually filmed this somewhat in order, but not that much better. But yeah, in the beginning scene where they're in the trailer, I'm just like, oh my God, like this girl.
I thought she was so cute. I don't know. I liked her in this actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And I thought that her relationship with Larry the Cable Guy, who normally I'm like, he's so annoying. I thought it was actually a really sweet relationship, and he's like a good dad. He's not like Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he's like, this guy was like missing all his stuff. Like Larry the Cable Guy is doing the best he can with. And
we'll like the plot of the movie, but Arnold missed out on getting the toy because he sucked.
Right.
Larry the Cable Guy is missing out on the toy because he's being actively thwarted by the stepdad.
But he does sleep in.
Yes.
The first
Sure. That's true. He makes a mistake. Yet, even if he had made that mistake, if it weren't for the machinations of the security guard, he could have easily gotten it at the next store. Like, there was plenty of those damn bears out there.
Yeah, and this is what Tyler's talking about, where, the whole reason for conflict in this movie makes so much more sense than anything in the last one.
Yeah. Where Sinbad, not even clear if he has a child.
Yep. Just as
wants
a
this toy.
bad postman.
I do like that they sort of address the fact that it's weird that, like, men who don't have a child or that you can't tell if they have a child or not, like, people are, like, weirded out. Like, why are you buying the toy? Like, so.
Well, speaking of the toy, too, I mean, this movie goes, I think, at least 20 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes before it even gets to that plot of, like, of, like, him needing to get the toy. It starts off really diving into the, like, stepdad versus real dad.
Right. It starts off much less like a screenwriter who read an article about people fighting over toys.
Exactly.
Which is exactly what Jingle All the Way sounds like.
So, Justin, I have a question. Like, how does ice fishing work? Is that real? You go in a little hut on a lake?
You do, yeah.
How does the hut stay on the...
You set up the hut earlier in the winter, like when it first... When it first is like, the ice is thick enough to walk on, you go set up the hut, you carve the hole or whatever, and then you just come back to it. You leave it there, come back.
What if the ice breaks and you die, like in all the movies where you get stuck under the ice?
Well, usually
the ice is too thick.
You're usually ice fishing in places that are like, you're not being in a dangerous situation because it's super thick. But maybe those places are decreasing these days. I don't know.
Yeah.
And if you get stuck under the ice, they'll pull you up and God will bring you back to life, right?
Yeah. You'll break through.
Sorry.
No, you'll turn into a basketball.
We had to see that trailer a lot this year.
Don't want to coach track and field. That's a different trailer.
That's
something like that.
Yeah.
So they're ice fishing, and like out of nowhere, she just turns to him. She's like, "How come Mom and you didn't stay married?" It's like, wouldn't she know that by now? I don't know.
And he's basically like, it's sometimes respectful and sweet the way he's describing it. She's like, she's just so organized and like all this other things. And he's like, then I'm just me. And then he just eats a puffy Cheeto.
Yeah, and he's like, "Did you have your breakfast?"
Yeah.
And she's
why
like,
don't you have a
"What?"
Twinkie?
Oh, yeah. But first he's like, "Oh, no, we're not having Cheetos for breakfast. I'm talking about a Twinkie." Yeah, that was so funny. I have to say, my main joy in this movie is throughout the entire film, I was doing this in my head. Every time someone said the main character's name is Larry. So every time someone said Larry, I imagined in their voice them saying Larry the Cable Guy. As they should have.
Do you think that Larry the Cable Guy?
Larry the Cable Guy, you just finally got here.
I think his name has to be that in all movies because he actually cannot handle.
That's what I was just
going
gonna
by
say.
another
Yeah,
name.
like they're
he
probably
was
right.
looking up the Tooth Fairy thing, and in that movie, his name is also Larry.
Yeah. You're probably right.
It's not that well versed as an actor.
Yeah.
And yeah, honestly, I expected to find him so much more annoying than I did watching this movie. I don't know if it's just because I'm like blinded by the like sweet holidayness of it.
I found him fairly annoying.
I did too, but I think you're right. Like
I feel like he's more annoying in Cars.
Yeah. Because in Cars and in his comedy and stuff, it's all about I'm a hick and I'm dumb and blah, blah, blah. And this, like, yeah, that was there. He lived in a trailer. He, did, like, hick-like things when he, like, rigged up all that electricity.
He electrocuted
and
himself.
Yeah.
He also...
he gets shot backwards.
But that's,
twice.
like, not the main joke. Like,
Right.
the main joke is that he's just trying to do this thing for his daughter. It's not like, oh, what a hick, blah, 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 this and that. And, like, the other dad... never, well, a little bit, but he doesn't really even like call him out on that much.
Right. Like, yeah, the way he calls him out on it, he's like, because basically Larry is a part-time truck driver. Mm-hmm. And there's some classism going on here where the stepdad's very wealthy. And he's like, oh, like you're part-time truck driver. He's like, yeah, I love being part-time. It gives me more time to spend with the kid.
Yeah, I love that comeback.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, and he didn't like push the thing further to make fun of him for being poor.
No, he was just
Interestingly, the only time that really does come up is in Larry the Cable Guy's nightmare with the fake bear. That's when all the insecurities that are in his own mind come out, and it's kind of like, oh, no one even said that to you.
I like the fake bear. It's like, I'm Larry the loser, get her done.
Yeah,
which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah. No, the super rich stepdad is jealous of Larry. He's like, oh, he's the perfect dad. Like he has all of his daughter's affection.
Yeah.
It is set up in a way that is nice.
Yeah. And so like these kind of things were like surprising me throughout the film. I was expecting it to be exactly the same. Like, Dad forgot to get you a gift, and now I got to go get her done. That's what I was expecting, and it was not that.
So, listeners, you would think that this movie, the way we're talking about it, you wouldn't imagine that there's a scene where Larry dresses as a homeless person and tries to steal a toy from orphans.
Specifically, he dressed up as the homeless lady from Home Alone 2.
Right.
Like, he really looked like her.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
And at this point, there's no Harrison Paris, and he's going to steal a toy from the orphans.
He did put a $500 check in the donation box.
He
still.
has a brief exposition utterance under his breath of like, $500 will make this okay.
I mean, it did lead to a somewhat like hilarious scene where he like runs into someone from high school,
a high school ex-girlfriend.
And she's like, "Oh God, it'll be okay, Larry. Like you'll get through this." And he keeps going like, "Nah, this is just a costume."
Like, I think overall the story made sense and was okay, like we're saying, but I think a lot of the execution is where it's lacking.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the hijinks and set pieces are where I was like, ugh. God,
Oh, for
are you
sure.
kidding
I mean,
me?
for a movie that ostensibly is supposed to be like a comedy of some sort, I did not laugh once. I was more connecting with like the relationships between Larry and his daughter, and just kind of like the fact, the plain fact that the plot was different than the first film.
Yeah.
But there's so many parts where you're like, oh, this is clearly a joke, and I was just like,
Yeah.
No jokes. No laughter.
Yeah, he kind of punctuates every one of these set pieces with a poop joke for some reason.
Yeah.
Like after he gets sprayed by the flocking thing, he's like, I hope somebody got the license plate of that pigeon. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I had to like think it through, and I was like, ew.
Yeah.
But like that's a couple steps to that joke. And then like he threatens to poop on Santa, and there's another part where he talks about pooping.
There's also
Elf flip poopy pants. That's what I wrote in my notes. He says when the little person elf flipped him that he pooped in his pants a little
that's
bit.
right.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was
Another Santa extortion.
Yeah.
Underground
that
Santa
was
toy
weird
ring.
too. Yeah, that was a weird thing to bring back.
Yeah.
I'm so, and not just these two movies, but I'm so tired of the little person as an elf is actually really tough and going to beat you up trope.
Yeah.
Like, no more. Don't do it
do it.
anymore.
Yeah.
Like, ugh. Even not as like when they're an elf, like even like I'm thinking of like Peter Dinklage in the movie Elf, where he's not even dressed as an elf,
Right.
but it's like, oh, the joke is that this little person can beat you up. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, ugh, God, enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, side tangent.
Speaking of the like con man Santa plot line that kind of comes back in this one, I did like the performance of the toy store
Yeah, I
manager, Jeffrey. His name, the actor's name is Matty Finicino, and I thought he was just a really fun character.
I was like, oh, this is someone who's done a Groundlings class.
yeah, exactly. He has this amazing thing where he goes through.
It's
all
his
the
greeting
holidays
from
in
the toy
his
barn.
Toy greeting.
Welcome to Toy Traders. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and a very happy winter solstice.
It's funny how when you listen to that, it sounds like a bunch of lines cut together, even though I ripped that straight from the movie.
Yeah.
But he does that a couple times in the movie, and I thought that was fun. And he's just like a fun energy opposite of like dopey Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And his turn into being like a creepy guy selling toys in the warehouse. was
Strange.
yeah. Very strange. Very
I don't know why the police keep breaking up these illegal toy sales, because like, is it really illegal to resell
No.
a toy that you bought?
It's called eBay.
Yeah, I don't know. So
yeah, that's why it felt like such a thing where they just needed to be like, this scene was in the last one, we need to do something similar.
yeah, or like we got it. Well, okay, yeah, this guy's gonna offer him the toy, but we got to figure out a way that he can't have it. Is that it's being taken in for evidence or whatever
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
But
The
so
toy-
yeah.
Oh,
were
should
you
we
gonna
talk
talk about the bear?
Yeah, I was gonna say the toy in question is called the Harrison Bear, or just Harrison Bear.
Harrison Ford Bear.
Yeah,
Harrison
Ford
Bear.
the Bear.
Which I think you can actually get at Build-A-Bear, little Han Solo
Oh,
outfit.
nice.
I was walking by a Build-A-Bear the other day, and you could build a porg. And I was like, ooh, that's something I would do.
Build-A-Bear is actually thanked in the special thanks to this movie, so they must have helped out somehow with the Harrison Bears.
That's cool.
They built all those. These
Maybe,
people are like,
or
oh,
maybe, yeah, that may make
How are we
sense.
going to build these bears?
there was they had to make a lot of bears for this.
Yes,
Oh,
they,
yeah.
I was surprised how many real bears there were.
Yeah.
They had
There
to
were not
make-
that many real Turbomans.
They had to make
You know, I actually wrote that down because I was like, Justin and Tyler always notice these random crowd people yelling stuff out, and I never notice it. But this time I actually noticed it, and I was like, they're going to notice this.
Guys,
one.
God.
I watched this part of this movie about 5 times.
Wait. Play for the audience.
Okay.
Here's the full thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, compliments of Victor Baxter, the Baxter Box Company. Merry Christmas!
Look at it, Mommy.
So many bears!
This is the one time I laughed in the movie for sure.
So many bears!
So good.
I wrote it in all caps. I was like, I think they're going to notice that one. I finally did it.
many bears.
I know we were texting about it all weekend. So
Yeah.
many.
God.
Yeah, that is so great. I mean, and it's like the guy. The funny thing too is you can see the guy say it, and he's just like,
Yeah.
they just left it in and they turned it up. I think so. It's like so obvious.
Yeah, so this is, we'll just get, like,
We're just jumping around.
Yeah, what the context of that scene is that the stepdad ends up sending his security guy out. The plot of this movie is to buy up all of the bears.
Which I had a problem with. I'm
Yes.
like, at least someone in the movie says, like, hey, don't you have some sort of, like,
Per family
one
limit?
per family limit? Yeah.
Or one per customer.
I feel like this would not be possible.
In 2014, not at all.
Yeah.
Really?
No, I feel like even then they should have had that.
That's what I mean. 2014,
Oh, yeah, I see
you
what you're
would not be able to get away with this at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all nerds, and we've all waited in line for something stupid at some point, and there is always
Multiple times a year.
Yeah, there's always like at most like a 10 per person limit,
Oh, yeah.
like at Disney and stuff.
That-
But
Yeah.
usually it's 2. Like most things are 2.
That scene where it's first come first serve, and the goon from the box company or whatever is front in line.
Yeah.
And everyone runs in and finds out that the first guy bought all of them. I think that there would be some murders.
Yeah, there would be some.
There's no way he would have been able to pick them up that fast and check out.
Well, we're also, since we're in Larry the Cable Guy territory, that's probably an open carry state.
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe.
No, it's Canada.
Yeah.
It's shot in Canada.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
least believable part of the
It
whole
really
That's
was.
right.
I was like, no
Per
way that they
customer
let that
limit.
guy buy all those things.
No.
But yeah, anyway, so the end of this, the scene in question of the is when he's revealing the store that he had of all of them, and him and Larry have made amends at this point, and
Yeah.
Larry has convinced him, like, oh, we'll make you a hero. We'll just say that you bought all the bears to give to
Yeah,
everybody.
because the community has turned against Victor at this
Right.
point because they found out that he was the one
Right.
that bought all
Yeah,
of them.
they were like about to go murder
Yes.
him if he showed up there. Yeah. I love the crowd being like, "What the? No more lies! Stop lying to us! What'd you do with all the?
What'd you do with the bears, Bucks Baron?
I did kind of like the scene where Larry is like out in front of this crowd that's like so pissed, and he's trying to tell everyone, and he's like, "Just let me talk! God damn it!" They keep interrupting him, and then someone's like, "Hey, stop!" I thought that was a little bit.
Just
funny.
let me talk. I'm Larry.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell everything.
Yeah. So
Many bears.
many bears.
So yeah, like before the bear thing even comes up, like we said, there's a bunch of like, who can have better Christmas lights? Who's gonna have a better Christmas tree?
Right.
Who's gonna make better food or whatever?
Oh,
And
we haven't talked about Larry's life partner, maybe? His best bud.
Santino?
Yeah.
Yeah. Claude.
Claude.
I have nothing to say about this guy.
He was just like a fun character who was always there helping Larry.
This guy was always there. Just helping him out.
Just his life friend. I don't know. He was just being goofy and like always said really dumb things.
Helped him make a tin soldier out of old car parts.
He sometimes seemed like he had a child's mind. But he was clearly supposed to be there for like extra comic relief, but he was never funny. And sometimes I'm like, sometimes the things he said, I was like, have you ever read a line before? And you're like,
Yeah, he's a wrestler, right?
yeah.
There's a point where Larry's daughter has written a letter to Santa Claus, and Larry wants to know what she wants most, and so he takes the letter outside to the mailbox. He's like, "Oh, I'll just put it in the mailbox right now," and he opens it.
This is what I'm talking about.
He's thinking about opening it.
Yeah.
And then this wrestler comes up to him and he's like, "No, that would break a sacred oath."
Yeah.
Like I would have to.
And he's like, "Are you going to read my letter to Santa?" That was what I'm talking about. He's like, he's written a letter to Santa as a full-grown adult who wrestles, apparently.
It's his grown-up Christmas list.
That's right.
Just like Kelly Clarkson.
I did like that it was like so obvious what was going to happen at the end of the movie. Like no one
Right.
actually thought she wanted a Harrison.
No,
Ford,
nobody.
right?
No. As soon as he wrote the letter, I was like, okay, this is like a Mad Gab situation,
Right.
and I actually wrote it down and was like, okay, what is it actually? Oh,
And I love
Did
it.
they have two different letters? Like what? Like because at the end it was much clearer.
No,
you didn't see this,
dude.
Oh.
I was gonna say. So at the end, they insinuate that maybe he can't read because like they pull out the letter and it says, to get her son or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, Dad, I meant together as one." And he looks at the letter, and the letters go like, boo, woo, 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 and they move.
Yeah.
And so it says together as one. Like he couldn't fucking read until someone told him.
Although, like, the writing was horrible, and she misspelled other things. Like, she wrote deer, like D-E-R.
That's
You know,
true.
so I don't think
I
it was,
missed that
like,
transition. That's amazing.
yeah, so it was either he is dyslexic and we should be concerned, or she has absolutely awful penmanship and cannot spell.
But it's like the way the scene is shot, it makes it look like someone put glasses on them and they were like, "Oh, it says together as one." Like, why'd they need to make the letters move? That was so
By the way,
weird.
this is the same plot of the Winnie the Pooh movie where they say Christopher Robin writes, "I'll be back soon," and they spend the whole movie looking for the Baxon monster.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, they couldn't read. I think Larry the Cable Guy is
He
just
can't
like
read.
that.
I think he can't read.
He can't read. At least his character. I don't know anything about the
His
guy.
character, Larry.
His character, Larry the Cable Guy, can't read. Cannot read.
Larry.
By the way, at one
Cable
point,
guy.
in order to sneak into the warehouse where the stepdad has like hidden all the bears, Larry, the Cable Guy, drops off a fake bear package to make the guy think he needs to go into the warehouse.
And then he asks for the bathroom again.
Yeah, he goes to the bathroom again. But then it turns out that he tricked him because the only thing in the box is a head of lettuce. And I was like, oh, surprise! Larry the Cable Guy's in the 7th Cavalry from Watchmen. He's a racist piece of crap. Shocker.
He's like, Cyclops.
Also, like, was Victor and his like bodyguard dude running a scam called "Who's Your Daddy"?
That was their code name for the...
That's real creepy.
Yeah, it's real creepy. And yeah, he finds
Code
out about
name,
it.
Who's your
daddy? Who's your daddy?
Or who's the daddy? I don't remember what it.
No, it's Who's Your Daddy?
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, I like that his
Really?
secretary seemed to acknowledge how creepy it was, really.
Right. And it's like, if you think about it even more context, it's talking about, yeah,
Yeah, no.
that's just locker room talk, guys.
Bleh.
Sorry.
Also, like,
I
this
apologize.
stepdad, I understand that they make him, like, somewhat redeemable at the end or whatever, but he's, like, really psycho throughout.
He's really psycho.
Hiring this dude is,
Buying
like,
a $10,000 tree.
crazy. Yeah, there's a point where he makes fake racist karate sounds, you know, like,
Yes.
that was in both movies, by the way. I forgot to point that out about the
That-
Arnold
yeah.
one, but he does that too.
Oh, yep. We played
Awful.
some last week.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. And then it gets weirdly political in their final argument because he's like, I pay my taxes and I never took a handout and I don't owe nothing to nobody or whatever. It's like, well, what does that have to do with anything? Like, I don't know.
Well, and like there was even part of that where it's like where his like happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa. It's like it's funny, but I feel like that it's funny to a certain type of person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I was
Like,
just
who's watching this movie?
I was like,
Like, I guess it was funny because he did it so many times. It's like the Heil Hitler joke from Jojo Rabbit or something, you know?
Right.
But like, yeah, just in and of itself, it's not funny. But
Right.
it was only funny because this guy repeated it in like the same way multiple times.
yeah.
So, like, if he had the same thing that was not talking about different religious holidays and was just like, Merry Christmas, welcome to Toy Mart, blah, 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 where we do this and that and we have this sale, you know, it would have
Yeah.
also been funny.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Trying to think if there's any other specific callbacks from the first film. I know there is at least one toy clerk laughing at Larry on the phone when he asks about getting a Harrison Bear. That's kind of a callback, maybe.
There's a callback to a Cinderella story because there's a benevolent diner.
That's right.
all diner waitresses are benevolent.
Yeah.
Yeah. She like cares for Larry for some reason.
For some reason.
Well, yeah, because he's the only person that goes there to buy pie at night. He's like literally the only customer.
The only night
He's like,
time.
round of pies for everyone. And she's like, Larry, you're the only guy here. Larry, the Cable Guy, you're the only guy here.
Yeah. There's a scene where he has to do a bull riding contest to try and win.
right.
But then the
This is
security
where
guard
this-
shows up, and I'm like, how did he even know he was there?
That was messed up, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
What the security guard does?
Well, what Larry the Cable Guy does is also
Sends him to
horrible.
the Poconos.
Well, yeah, he cheats, but
Yeah.
then like the other guy pays off the operator of the ride to make it fucking dangerous. He's like $50 to kill a guy. Sure, why not?
And this is the part where this movie goes into Steven Soderbergh, Ocean's 11, boxes, Brady Bunch sliding, so that we can watch the action and then also girls in vaguely Western Santa outfits clapping politely.
Yeah, they were so into it. Santa number 7, get up there. That was dumb. He wins the competition.
All speed ramped.
Yeah,
all
of course.
And also, they didn't. You know what? The resolution for this movie. So yeah, he wins the competition, and they're like, "Oh, first prize is a trip to the Poconos. Second prize is the Harrison Bear." And they're like, "God damn it!" And then later, like we said, that he makes amends with the stepdad, and the thing that they decide is, "Oh, let's have Christmas at my trailer."
Because I'm a great cook.
Let's just go to the fucking Poconos. I want a trip.
That's only true. 2 people can go.
Yeah.
Fight to the death.
Fight to the
Not
death.
been a better ending.
Now we have a Jingle All The Way 3.
Yeah. Jingle All The Way 3, Poconos. Poconos Vacation.
Also, at the end, when they see all the presents under the Christmas tree, it's revealed that this girl's name, Noelle, is spelled Noel, like Noel, which is like a boy's name.
Right.
But like Noelle, Noelle, I think is the preferred female spelling. And the name of the movie, on Disney Plus.
Not in the WWE.
By the way,
Noel.
a really quick child star check-in, not on Kennedy Clemens, because we already did hers. She's like doing hip-hop dance or something. But Jesse Philcow, who plays Boy, parentheses, Toy Store, in this movie.
I was like, there's another kid in this movie?
No, he has done 5 Christmas films since this movie,
shit.
including the Disney Plus movie Noelle, in which he plays homeless son.
Is that the kid who says that his dad's in jail? And
No, that kid.
Oh, I forgot about that kid.
That kid hasn't acted in a few years. I don't know, but he did a few movies too.
Are you saying he's dead?
because his dad's in jail.
Oh, yeah.
Almost every character and side character and actor in this movie has been in those Hallmark, that same show that Joanna Newmarch lady from the stepmom from The Christmas Wish was in.
Oh, When Calls the Heart?
When Calls the Heart. They have all been in it. Every one of them has been, and they've all been in this Christmas movie
they'll cast
circuit.
anyone.
So like,
So they all play lacrosse for USC?
yeah, it's like there's one girl, Gracelyn Chinye, who played like also girl in Crowd or something like that. She
So
is, like,
many bears!
She's
So
the main girl in When Calls the Heart, and I guess she's in Man in the High Castle, and she's in Batwoman. She's like the young flashback girl they use for Batwoman right now. But yeah, this like whole Christmas sequel circuit is like crazy. Even the director, like Alex Zam, he not only did the Tooth Fairy 2 with Larry the Cable Guy, and if you look at the poster, it looks exactly like the poster for this movie with Larry the Cable Guy on top and the little girl under his chin. He's doing the Woody Woodpecker series, and he did Christmas Prince for Netflix, but not the sequels, and then went to go do Royal Christmas for Hallmark Channel. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
And he wrote a lot of these songs in this movie. Were you going to talk about that at all? Did you notice that?
Oh, the director wrote the songs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about one amazing thing that this movie has that the other movie does not.
Okay.
We get, in this film, in the end credits, a Jingle All The Way theme song.
I did not notice this.
Oh, God.
What? Did you not listen to the song?
I was listening, but I didn't hear it say Jingle All the Way.
Oh,
I
it's
just
the
heard
chorus.
generic
It's the
bullshit.
chorus.
Oh my God. I mean, we're going to hear it in the end,
let's hear it.
end credits of this
okay.
episode, but I'll play a little bit of it here. Ready? Here we go.
Jingle bells are here to stay. Hey, hey, life's a sleigh. I'm just along for the ride. When things get bumpy, I take it all in stride.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sometimes life
Yeehaw.
is big when you wanna zag. So hang on to
Here we go.
that steering wheel. Don't let your spirits sag.
Right here.
Jingle, jingle all the way.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
my
come
God.
on.
Wow.
That is awful.
He wrote like 5 songs for this movie.
The song is called Jinglin' by Toby Rand.
Oh, well, that's why I didn't know, because it's not called Jingle All the Way.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah.
I it took me maybe like 3 minutes, but I was like, I have to see if this song's online. I specifically waited till the end credits to see what it was called, and yeah, it's written by the director. It's very strange.
By the way, the director wrote his own biography on his IMDb page.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and he ends it with, "Well, that's my story. Now tell me about yours," or something like that.
no.
Should we go comment on his page? Like, well, I'm from Wisconsin. Yeah. When this end credit song started, I was just like, oh my God, what?
Gosh.
What? You guys, you're going to get to hear almost all of it in the end of this episode.
I mean, stay tuned.
Stay tuned if you want to hear more.
Would you like to know more?
Would you like to know more?
So what else happens in this movie, guys?
I mean, there's not that much. She tries to bring her snow and it melts. Like,
Yeah, because the stepdad has bought a bunch of fake snowmakers because they don't live somewhere where there's snow.
he gets distracted by a girl with boobs at the tree farm.
At the tree farm, yep. And she is there to be sexy and give exposition.
Yep.
Maybe that was the inspiration for The Big Short. And
I will
Robbie.
say we had some.
Yeah, Jingle All The Way 2 is actually one of Adam McKay's biggest
Adam McKay
inspirations.
was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this, and then this stepdad, he's going to be my inspiration for Succession.
Yep.
By the way, do you think the box company is like the same or somehow related to the one that John Locke works at?
Ooh.
Oh, these are the questions. We'd have to find out if
Part of the Lost universe.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a movie we're talking about, so yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You just had to bring up Lost, didn't you?
Every time.
Way to go. I was going to say about the Christmas tree prices. I actually had some friends this weekend complaining about how expensive the trees are, just like in this movie.
Did they spend $10,000?
No. Not for a gigantic Douglas fir.
But $300 for that one that he sees is way too damn much. Like that tree should be $60.
But apparently trees like that are like $100-some out here. Yeah.
What about is the flocking free?
I don't know about the flock.
Flocking is very out of style now.
Nobody wants the flocking.
I don't think so.
Don't flock.
Just buy a fake.
It's not $100. Like,
these are people that just went out last weekend and couldn't find a tree cheaper than, like, the $80 trees apparently were ridiculous.
I guess if you go to like the artisanal tree farm,
I don't
or whatever,
know. I have no idea where.
We usually just go to Home Depot.
Yeah,
So
that's what.
Go down to the depot. Get yourself a tree.
I was gonna say, are you gonna say treepo or what? Go down to the depot, get yourself a treepo.
You don't know me.
Like, what are you about to say?
No, you know me.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else worth noting in this movie.
Nope.
I had nothing to say. It was just like,
Probably
okay,
not.
whatever. Like, we pretty much covered it.
I think that there were some things that felt like vaguely problematic, but that there was a lot of heart to it, and so it didn't necessarily. It felt like that everything was in the right place.
Yeah.
Larry the Cable Guy's shtick was kind of endearing, where it's like it's okay if you're like this, like it's fine.
Yeah, I felt like he was doing a better. I felt like he was doing a good job of like. Playing like more of an everyman dad than like an annoying hick dad.
Here's the thing, like, everything in the text of the movie itself is pretty much fine and harmless. Like, there's no harm in saying, like, I'm not trying to aspire to rise above my station, or I'm just trying to be a good dad, or that all in and of itself is fine. But, like, I just kept thinking about, like, what the horrible people of the world could use this to, like, I don't know, strengthen their own horrible positions on other things, like, which probably no one is even watching this movie enough to think of it that much. But, like, like, no one's like, well, I don't need to, be a liberal elite because Larry the Cable Guy in Jingle All The Way 2 wasn't. No one's doing that. But I just kept thinking about, like, all of the horrible people out there that, like,
maybe this movie's for, I don't know.
Yeah, this movie. I know I'm not the target audience. I'll put it that way.
And even like the problematic outwardly problematic stuff like the karate noises or whatever else we said. Like
Imitating the homeless.
Yeah, none of that is as bad as Sinbad yelling out Rodney King. Or,
Yeah.
Or choking a lady.
Yeah, like, so it's just kind of like,
Broad daylight.
if you think about it, like, 5 layers later, you're like, oh, that's no good. But if just in its face, it's not really that bad.
it's fairly harmless and unique in terms of we've watched worse sequels.
Yeah.
And so we're all kind of like,
That's what I think this is doing to me. That's why I'm like,
Yeah.
is my brain getting messed up? I thought I was going
Is
to.
this causing serious harm?
I thought I was going to flat out hate this movie.
In the first 5 minutes of this movie, I told my girlfriend that it is not fit for human consumption.
Look away.
Did this go in the movie theater, by the way?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So it was just like direct to video.
Straight to video. Yep.
Okay.
December 2nd, 2014. Yeah, there's no way this was in theaters.
Just checking. I don't know. Larry the Cable Guy was pretty big deal right there.
Hot
I
shit.
feel like 2014 that it had already been eclipsed. I feel like that his
Cars 2
star
came
was
out.
falling.
Well,
Yeah.
he has not done a single movie since Cars 3. He's only just been touring.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
no TV, no movies, no nothing.
he probably makes enough money just doing
Probably.
that.
Probably.
No. Go see him next Sunday at Pachanga. Or something.
Oh, yikes.
I don't know. Just kidding.
You're like, it doesn't matter when you're listening to this. That's true.
Fix my cable. Get me free HBO, guy. Cable guy. You want to do rating?
Yeah, how many bears would you give this movie?
So many bears. So many bears. I think I'm going to say I'll give it so many bears.
Yeah.
That way my number is ambiguous. No, I think I'll give it 4 bears. Sex noises.
What is that even from? Species 1 or something?
Darkman.
Dark
Oh,
Man, I think.
Darkman. Oh, yeah.
They're having
Go
sex.
check out Darkman because that was a great couple of episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I honestly was like expecting to be like, this was a 1. I have to wash my eyes out with bleach after seeing this. Yeah, I was really, I thought, like I said before, I thought that Larry the Cable Guy and the key relationship between him and his daughter was really sweet. And, I actually liked Kennedy Clements that played Noelle, his daughter in this movie. I thought she was really cute and just doing a good job of being a happy kid and not, to me, it wasn't too annoying. And the mere fact that this has a different plot than the first film, and takes a while to get to what we know is like the, 2 dads fighting for a toy. I give the movie, some props for that. And so I didn't totally hate this movie, but I would never be like, you guys, you should watch this year, Jingle All The Way 2. There's a second one. Yeah, but that's my thoughts.
Yeah. I'll give it 3 Harrison Bears. I don't know. Just like we said, I'm not the target audience for this movie.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, there are many movies we have watched that are abhorrent and straight up like hateful, and like this is not one of those. It's just kind of like an innocent thing, and there was some thought put into it, and it didn't like. But also, I would never watch this.
If your misguided grandmother puts this on her Star's Prime TV channel,
You just say
it's not. Yeah, like
could be
whatever.
worse.
I feel like this is something you might watch like 45 minutes in a hotel that only has 3 channels, and like you need to have noise on while you
no
blow
other
dry your
options.
hair
Right,
or
right.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I think I'm also gonna go 3, which makes me feel like that this podcast is breaking my brain, because
It might be.
this is seems like high praise for this movie. At the same time, the heart is there is an actual heart to this movie. There is a plot to this movie. I think that the bits and jokes and the comedy of it are failures. And I think that there are some things that I think that might be undercover hateful. That being said, I think that it's actually trying, and that is saying more than some of the other stuff we said. So 3.
It is interesting because, like, being at the end of the year right now, like, being kind of introspective or whatever, like, there's, like, a lot of things now that we have seen forming patterns that, like, I guess I didn't expect when we first started the podcast. Like, there's just, like, you start to notice patterns of, like, what sequels do or what franchises do and what the lazy ones do versus what the good ones do. Like, even, you know, obviously everyone's like, oh, stop talking about racist Asian things. But, like, it's weird how the bad comedies will fall back on some stupid Asian stereotype every time. Or, like, we keep noticing these weird ADR things that, like, stick out from the movie, you know, like, across many movies. And now we're starting to see, like, very repeating directors and repeating actors all over the place. I forgot to mention the mom was in Poltergeist Legacy or whatever, you know, like, just, it's just interesting.
Well, like the mom that would definitely not be married to Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have been more, honestly, I kept thinking, like, it would have been more realistic to if it said it was a one-night stand and we committed to raising this girl. Or we were friends, maybe, and we got
One-night
drunk,
stand
you know?
is not very Christmassy, okay?
I know, but, like, there's no way this lady would have had sex with Larry the Cable Guy ever.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was my thought, too. Sorry,
that's
Larry.
how we got Jesus.
Is it?
God's one-night stand in Bethlehem.
I guess.
How dare you? No, I don't care.
And guys, let me tell you, it was immaculate.
It was immaculate. That's terrible. Blasphemy.
So, since this is a twofer, though, is this movie better than the Arnold one?
No. Phil Hartman makes it not so.
Phil Hartman's great. I was thinking that there are some things that work. There are some things that work better. Like, I like the less cynical approach of, like, you know, a good family and a dad just trying to be good, not like just trying to be good, not trying to be less of a shitty dad. You know,
right.
Arnold is just a shitty dad. Who's
trying to cover
care.
his ass,
yeah, exactly. And this one, it's
who's
like
I
Larry,
failed, I should get drunk.
Yeah, exactly. Larry's just like trying to,
but at the same time too, it's just kind of like the, even just the production value. Like it's the difference of having 100 Santas in the warehouse versus one dude and an elf.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know.
I mean, yeah. So I feel like there's pluses and minuses to both sides. I wouldn't say that either movie is like great.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well, especially, and I was going to mention too, if you need more Christmas content, go back and listen to some of the other series
Home Alone
that we've done. We did Home Alone, which there are 5 of for some reason.
Oh yeah.
We did Santa Claus, which has 3 that are all pretty dang good compared to all of these when you think about it. I'd rather watch any Santa Claus, but you know. And then there's also one-offs of the Benji Christmas special that we have back there. If you want to talk about momentary blackface.
Also, that's just one that's on Netflix. That's just so weird.
Yeah,
like,
and it's
worth
really
putting on.
short. It's less than 45 minutes. I think you could just watch it and then listen to our episode and be like, "What?"
It's so funny.
Yeah, it really is.
Do it.
And then we literally just finished that Cinderella story, Christmas Wish, as well.
Yeah.
Which I do not recommend anyone
I don't
but
Christmas wish that upon anybody.
you could listen to us talk
It's
about
on Netflix.
it.
You can watch it for free. It's
Yes, it is
it's
on
totally
Netflix.
harmless.
Yeah, if you had to blow dry your hair somewhere, you can put it on in the background.
Yeah.
Or
Also,
you're at the
this
dentist.
movie was on Stars, and then the other
I
one was
watched
on
it on
HBO.
Stars with a 7-day free trial.
Oh,
I paid to rent it.
I did too. Yeah, on Microsoft because it was $1 less than all the other ones.
You know, you guys, I actually turned down getting the Blu-ray for this one because I go and read all the reviews of the special features, and this one was like it's mostly just scenes from the movie, and I'm like, oh.
Is this like
I don't need
the
to
first
see
one that you haven't
No, there's
bought
a
physical?
few that I like stopped. If there's not any good special features, physical, I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna do it. It's not.
What
worth
was the one? Was it Meatballs 2 that was only on YouTube?
it. Yeah, no, Meatballs 3. I think,
3.
Yeah.
Meatballs 3.
There was 3 of those.
No,
There's
there's 4.
There's 4.
Don't
You
forget
already
Corey
forgot.
Feldman.
Oh,
Poor
that's
Corey
right.
Oh my God. Okay,
He
so
was
yes,
he was a water skier, guys.
we're at the end of the year. Go back and listen to our past episodes if you need road trip sounds on your
Yeah,
long
if you're
holiday.
traveling back to your family, you know, pick a movie, I think the way to do it is pick a movie that you know, pick one of the random sequels from there, and then you get two, and then you can go exploring.
Yeah.
Totally.
But in the meantime, Eliz, where can people reach out and talk about the next year, or maybe you got suggestions for another Christmas movie we can do next year?
Yeah.
Sequels that you might be excited that could be announced in 2020 that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Email us sequelrights@gmail.com and find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sequel Rights.
And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and listen to us on Spotify. Means a lot. Thanks, guys.
And do you guys feel like we should let everybody know what we're doing at the start of the year? This is the last episode for 2019.
Oh, yeah. We are going to take a little bit off for holidays.
Yeah, there's a small chance there could be a bonus episode popping up, so keep an eye on the feeds. You never know. But this could be the last one, and we won't be back until the first week of January.
I think that might be a 2020 secret.
Yeah, let's keep it a surprise for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hey, if you think hard enough, you might be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
So thanks to everyone who's been listening this year. We really love you guys. It's been so much fun.
All the guests.
Yeah.
Absolutely, all the guests.
All the guests. My brother again, Jordan, for the music at the top. And all of our fans. It's been really fun interacting with you guys this year. And looking forward to doing it next year as well. So until then, we'll see you guys
in
later.
2020.
Hey, hey, life's a sleigh.